This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911, a real cliffhanger.
Hang on, man, hang on.
A thrill seeker tumbles to a precarious ledge 30 feet below.
Someone had to get down there to treat that patient.
I think I can do this. First few steps were the worst.
Plus, an everyday item becomes a deadly weapon.
You could see straight down through his chest.
And paramedics must rush to save a 4-year-old boy.
This child has been stabbed, and we're thinking the worst.
On Rescue 911.
We begin on the afternoon of March 21st, 1994, as John Austin and his best friend Oliver Miner set out to explore the rugged beauty of Ferncliff State Park near Goreville, Illinois.
And what we've done is put a trail system in for people to let them safely see some of the vistas.
All right, I'm gonna go to school.
Sometimes a senior can really, be tranquil to you when you're really stressed out. And I was just basically trying to get out away from it all. And I love being outdoors.
Hey, let's go to the cliffs.
We've got bluffs, they'll range anywhere from 30 to 100 feet. The majority of the people will stay on the trail system.
Come on back, bro. What are you doing?
He's a really close friend, but Oliver's a daring individual. He always has been.
Man, why don't you come back a little bit, man? Come on, man.
I'm not a chance taker when it comes to my life. I won't do that.
Way. Watch this. See ya.
We kind of came upon this little island-type cliff that he jumped down to 3 years ago. It's a pretty dangerous-looking sight. It spooks me.
Yep, this is right where I jumped off, right here.
The jump itself was something I would never do in a million years. Oliver just takes his chances.
Do not do that. I'm serious.
He gave me the car keys, and he was saying, well, at least if I fall, if I get hurt, you can go for help. You have the car.
Come on, Oliver. Come on, you are not serious. Dude! Come on, man! Oliver, look, man, come on. I know you don't do this. Do not do it, Oliver. Come on. Piece of cake.
When I saw he had landed safely, I felt better about it. I was a little bit calmer.
Come on, you can't get back from here. Look at that.
I said, you've got to really logically think about a way to get off this.
Come on.
So why don't you wait here, and I'll get somebody to get you down. And he was thinking about it. He was considering that. But he just opted to get down himself. He said, I think I can do it.
Oliver! Oliver! Oliver, hang on, man. Hang on, all right?
At that point, I really got struck with panic. I was in shock. I knew right then that my actions could determine whether he lived or died.
Dad, help!
I looked for something to get him with.
Dad, no! Oliver!
When we continue,
We're used to getting right in there and going to work. This time, you can't do anything. He's down there, he's 30 feet away. You can't jump down there. You can't climb down there. It's frustrating.
Hey, Oliver?
when Oliver Miner attempted to leap back from an island of rock to the top of a cliff, he lost his grip and fell. All his best friend John Austin could see was that Oliver's motionless body was wedged in a narrow rock crevice 35 feet below the top of the cliff and 50 feet above the ground.
When he slipped and fell over, to me, it looked like the end.
Oliver!
I just didn't know if he was going to be alive.
John quickly found a park ranger. Within 15 minutes, a Johnson County ambulance unit arrived, including EMT Brent Schurbaum. But they could not get to the victim.
Rappelling's dangerous. Even if you have all the safety equipment, there's always the element of danger in it. So we're going to try to reach him from the bottom and minimize the risk.
As rescuers headed to the bottom of the cliff to look for a place to climb up to Oliver, EMT Mike Judds stayed at the top.
You want to get to that patient. We're used to getting right in there and going to work. This time, you can't do anything. He's down there, he's 30 feet away. You can't jump down there. You can't climb down there. You damn sure can't fly down there. It's frustrating.
Are you dizzy right now?
I wanted to see where he was at mentally.
You feel cold? Stay where you're at, Oliver. Don't try to go anywhere.
When we got there, at the bottom, it was impossible. It was almost a vertical incline, and there was no way in the world to reach him. And that's when it hit us that it's going to take time to get this guy off the rock, and time wasn't something we were at all sure that we had at that point.
EMT Leonard Oliver was also among those at the bottom of the cliff.
We don't know if something was broken inside, and your whole torso area could fill up with all the blood in your body. In a matter of minutes, you could really go into shock.
EMS Director Donna Norton was in charge of the rescue.
The Rangers could rappel, but they didn't have medical experience. My EMTs had all the medical experience in the world, but couldn't rappel. But it had to be done. Someone had to get down there to treat that patient.
I don't know what made me say it, but I said, I didn't know a thing about ropes, but I think I can do this.
You're on the rope right, and everything's secure. So if you don't
Ranger Sam Richardson gave Mike some basic instructions on how to rappel.
There was a man on the rock that would die if he didn't do it. He realized what needed to be done, and he didn't hesitate a minute. He says, "Can you get me there?" And I says, "Yeah." And he said, "That's all I need to know."
He's giving me a crash course in rappelling while the other guy's putting the harness and stuff on me. I'm listening to them. I'm hanging on every word they say about how to use this equipment.
I feel like it's on, right?
You're aware of the danger around you, but you're focusing on what you got to do. You're focusing on that patient.
Get you locked in when it's your turn to go.
I stuff as many things as I can in my pockets, the bare necessities, they say. A C-collar around the thigh, going over the side on these ropes with this harness and stuff, felt like Robo-Medic or something.
Like that?
I just kept telling him to lean into the harness, but he was shaking a little bit at first.
Coming right over the edge, Sam.
Every part of your being tells you that you shouldn't be walking off of an 80-foot cliff backwards.
Walk backwards, Mike. You can be right over the edge, Sam. Knees back. Let me know when you want me to belay. Sit in that seat. Get back a little. You're straight up and down too much. Sit in your seat. There you go. Right leg first. Knees back. Let me know when you need help. Ease down. Stretch wide if you have to. Sam! 173.
First few steps were the worst.
Little slack?
Just ease into that horn. Watch the rock behind your back. How's he doing, Sam? Doing great. All right. Set into the horn. There you go. Good job. Good job. Watch that right there. There's a big crack.
We almost all held our breath as he came down until he got to that ledge and unhooked. It was just like a collective sigh of relief when he got there.
There you go.
When someone asks me, where do you get your EMTs, I tell them I get EMTs in the correctional center. I train the actual inmates of the institution.
What am I going to do? Say, well, I'm an armed robber, been in prison for 5 years, and I've only been on the job 30 days. By the way, I've never used any of this ropes before, so just trust me, it'll be all right.
It's never in anyone's mind that we're working with inmates. Mike's a neat guy. He's a friend whose partner's an EMT.
Yeah, about 20 feet.
When we stood Oliver up in the basket, and he went over the edge. I said, "You're in good hands, and it's up to us now. You just relax and enjoy the ride."
Looking good. How's he look? Is he clear from down there?
It's kind of rough sometimes. Your heart goes out to these people. And once they leave your hands, you wonder, did I do what I should have done?
Hang in there, buddy.
You hope that you did everything right.
You all right, man?
He was in a lot of pain, and I was just telling him, how grateful I was that he was alive, and that I was just so glad that he was there talking to me.
22-year-old Oliver Miner suffered a fractured pelvis and a punctured lung and was hospitalized for 8 days. Three months have passed since the incident.
When I first woke up, I was scared, figuring out what I'd done to myself, how bad I was hurt. From that point on, I've minimized the risks I've taken. I am not as much of a fool as I was before.
He's changed. It's got him to realize that life's important, yeah. He's gotten to where he thinks a little bit more before he does something.
Cool jam, man.
That's all we ask of him anyway.
Very good. I'm impressed.
Oliver's mother, Cheryl Gayer, is grateful to his rescuers.
For a long time, I wasn't married, and it was just him and me against the world.
Very good. You haven't broke one yet.
We're soulmates. We're really close for a mother and a son.
There you go.
And I just could not imagine a life without Oliver.
Mike Judd is the one that brought you off the cliff. I think we ought to make a toast to him. Cheers to you.
I didn't learn about Mike's current living place until later, but it does not lower my opinion of him in the least bit. If it wasn't for him, I don't know where I would be at now. He was so great.
I love you.
At the time of the accident, Mike Judds was an inmate at Vienna Correctional Center, a minimum security prison. He now has a job on the outside as an EMT.
I've lost a portion of my life. And having lost that, I've come to realize how much life means. And how short it is. Now he's getting tired. Being able to help somebody out, if I can add to their life, man, it's great. Because I know how much it means to have that.
Leonard Oliver is also part of the inmate program. He too plans to continue working as an EMT when he is released.
And I really appreciate the chance to help people. It makes you feel good. Makes you feel real good. Feel proud of myself. I don't have to have anybody else feel proud of me. I feel proud of me.
The inmates are just as highly motivated as any other EMTs that I've trained. As a matter of fact, some of them, I think, become even more dedicated. I think that some of them has told me that they feel that this is a way that they can atone for some of their past mistakes by serving others.
With the real chest.
For 20 years, Johnson County has been served by an ambulance service that's staffed by inmates. We think it's a good program, and we think the guys should be judged on their merits, not on their past.
You know, people think going out there and screwing up and committing crimes or breaking the law is fun and exciting, but there's nothing as exciting as saving a life. Nothing compares.
2 short breaths, or would they be...
Slow breaths.
Next.
You could actually look inside the chest. He was gray, his lips were blue. He's dying. You know, there's nothing you're going to be able to do for him.
Children don't automatically know the uses and hazards of things around the house. So it's all too easy for everyday items to become weapons in their hands. As Patty Ritter found out on August 13th, 1992, at her home in Cincinnati, Ohio.
It's okay, Ryan. I was giving my 1-year-old Ryan a bath in the kitchen sink. And I was talking on the telephone, chit-chatting. Yeah.
Shanna Rathbone had been dating Patty's oldest son for about a year. During that time, she'd become close to his 4-year-old brother, Alex.
I was sitting in the family room with my boyfriend, Mark, and his little brother came in and asked me to help him wash his hands in the bathroom. So I walked him back.
Okay.
I feel like a member of the family. They've always made me feel like a member of the family from the first day I ever came over. That's just how the Ritters are.
Sure. Whatever time you want to pick me up is fine with me.
Mommy, I hurt myself with the scissors.
What, honey? I looked at his chest. It was just a small drop of blood, so I took the washcloth and I dabbed it.
Patty screamed horrendously. I looked at Alex and I saw this hole right in his chest. You could see straight down through his chest. It was just like a big tunnel, just straight down.
Union Township dispatcher Eileen Beatty was on duty by herself that afternoon.
It was a very hysterical woman saying that her young son had been stabbed and he had pulled the scissors out himself. And I started to worry because I've always been told that if you're stabbed with something, it's best to leave it in.
Rescue units with the Union Township Fire Department were immediately dispatched to the scene.
need you to hurry. She told me to apply pressure to the wound.
Okay, please hurry.
And I hung the phone up.
Alex.
And he was just like a limp wash rag in your hand. I was getting more hysterical as the time went on. And then luckily, for some God-given reason, my husband came home.
I pulled in the driveway, and Mark came up to me and told me Alex had gotten hurt. I thought we'll take him to the doctors, get stitches, and then that'll be the end of that.
Listen to me.
What happened?
He fell on my haircut.
Let's see. I pulled the rag away from his chest. You could actually look inside the chest. He was gray. His lips were blue. The last thing he said to me was, "I'm sleepy." And that was it.
Among those responding to the call was paramedic Jeff Jackson.
Medic 41. About halfway there, our dispatcher called us back and advised us that the child has been turning blue, which immediately heightened our response. This child has been stabbed. He could be in a cardiac arrest, and we're thinking the worst.
Yeah, he's real listless. I didn't know what to do for him. You're holding your son, and he's dying. You know, there's nothing you're going to be able to do for him.
Alex. Yeah, I hear him.
About that time, I heard the life squad.
When the father first came out of the house, I immediately recognized who he was. Mark had been on the fire department with me a number of years ago, and ironically, he had left the fire department because he could not deal with injured and sick children.
Okay, Dad, we're going to take care of him. What's his name?
As soon as I looked at the child, I knew he was in a life-threatening situation. He was blue around the lips, blue around the fingertips, which immediately tells me that his body is shutting down.
Your wife here, too?
Paramedic Pam Kratzer asked to see the scissors.
The blood on the scissors was 2 inches up, so we realized that it had punctured at least 2 inches into his body. That means they could have not only punctured his lungs and his heart, but have also gone into his spine.
Second, folks.
Okay, Dad, I need you to hand
How you doing,
Alex to me, okay? The father did not want to release the child from his arms, and I thought, how could I ask this father to lay this child down, knowing that this may be the last time he can hold him?
I need you folks to go right now and meet us down there. He's going to be
They
fine.
just kept saying, "We need you to leave."
Patty, can we go?
And I can't help thinking that he was dying. And they wanted us out of the way. They didn't want us to be there when he died.
Alex was taken to the nearest open field, where he was met by a University Air Care helicopter. The medical team on board included flight nurse Carol Downing.
At the time, the child was in extreme shock. He wasn't breathing well, and his blood pressure was very, very low. The best thing to do was to get him to the operating room at Children's Hospital.
As they were reeling him in, we got to take a look at him. You want to touch him, you want to talk to him, but you know you can't. I thought that probably would be the last time that I would get to see him.
TJ, let's get the sternal saw ready.
At Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center, 4-year-old Alex went directly to the operating room where surgery was performed by Dr. Victor Garcia.
Literally every second mattered, because if you have uncontrolled bleeding in the chest, then the greater the likelihood that the bleeding would result in irreversible consequences that would ultimately kill the child.
Anesthesia, we're starting. Heart tones are fading.
Once we opened the chest, we found that there was blood inside the sac around the heart. It only takes a small amount of blood in the pericardium to interfere with the ability of the heart to pump.
Go ahead and talk to him just the way you normally would.
They had to cut him from the top of the chest all the way down to his groin area. He had 45 staples down his little tiny body. He looked pathetic. I wanted to pick him up and kiss his whole face.
Say here, say giddy up, Flicka.
Giddy up, Flicka.
All right.
A year has passed since the incident.
Now I know why we were always told growing up, don't run with scissors. If I had any advice to give to people, I would say make sure that the scissors are put up.
Scissors and Dad's tools and all those objects that we just use on an everyday basis and don't think about, we need to think as those as lethal weapons.
I'm very proud of my son for coming and telling my wife he had fell on these scissors. If it wouldn't have been for him coming, he could have went out in the yard and died.
All right. You know
I thought about being an EMT, but that takes a different breed of people, I think. And they saved my son's life. think the people are great.
Oh, don't get Mom.
Let's go get Mom, Alex.
You train all your life to help people, and this was one instance that you really did help a child.
I need to yell.
Oh, okay. When I see him out playing, it's amazing. Look at him. I mean, he's got a scar, but that's okay. That's a battle scar to him. He shows everybody.
This is when the doctors cut me down to about there. And my bone's up there. Alright. I'm not going to play with scissors again because they could hurt you.
Look at the top of the tree.
I almost lost him. And that's probably why he's pretty spoiled right now. I can't even imagine my life without Alex. I can't even imagine.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.